My name is Sean Bouchard, and I am continuing to play Papo Yo. This is a game that came out in 2012. I've done a couple of episodes of this Let's Play already. I'm really excited to get to the point in the game that I have never played before. I played on the PS3 once, sort of up to this point. But we're about to reach the point where I have no idea what's going to happen. And this is a really interesting story-based game. We saw in the last segment a lot of really cool, really heavy story stuff happened. Yeah, so we're going to continue with that. The game kind of revealed its metaphor a little bit in the last segment. We met this monster, and the monster has sort of followed us around and helped us out in lots of different situations. But the monster is really very controlled by the environment, and I have the power to manipulate the environment. And specifically, I can put out things that the monster likes, and the monster will sort of go to those things. But we discovered that when the monster has access to frogs, the monster starts to freak out and become extremely violent, and all of a sudden, starts attacking, becoming aggressive, and becoming very frightening. And this is sort of the first part of the game that has delivered on the promise of fright that has kind of been implicit in some things, in little bits and pieces throughout the first half. So the first thing that I notice when I come in here is how large this space is. I think this is much larger than any space that we've entered before, and it seems like frequently we go into a space and we manipulate it and we sort of open it up, and so it becomes larger. But this space is starting out really large, and this feels like all of a sudden my relationship to the game is changing in a way. The game has taken me out of tutorial mode. I'm no longer sort of given a very small, distinct, deliberate puzzle. Now I'm being given sort of a whole bunch of puzzles all at once, and I'm gonna have to figure out the order that I solve them in, the order that I interact with things in. This feels like quite different, and it's interesting that I believe that's what's going to happen. That is signaled by literally the space opening up. So the level design is signaling me to the way that I'm going to interact with this in a slightly different way now. So I'm trying to get up there. Helpfully, there's a mural up there. We've seen a few murals so far in the game, and it wasn't clear to me what their significance was. Now it's much more clear to me. Murals indicate progress. Murals are where I'm supposed to go. And previously we've seen murals that were sort of placed very specifically in our path so that we sort of had to go that way. Or, we just walked through a door that opened in a mural. But here, this is the first time that it's really clear that we need something to direct us because this is such a big wide space. Previously, the thing that has directed us are these little white interactable graffiti place elements, but now there's too many of them. They're all over. So we need something new to attract us, a weenie, as we would call it in game design. And this mural is going to be our weenie. Okay, so I think that's a trap. Here's my guess, because I thought I was making a ramp that I could walk down, but then I don't really need a ramp, and I couldn't even walk down it. My guess is, because we have seen in the past that Monster doesn't like to change levels, that he doesn't like to change elevation. And so I think what this is I need to get him to stand on this wooden plank, and then I'm going to drop him down onto a lower level. But that doesn't tell me how I'm going to get him down onto this level. I'm back up where I was. Okay, so there's something that I can reach. Just looking around at what are the things that I can reach, right? There's lots of fruit. I can see down there there's plenty of fruit for me to use. I can see that big glowing square, and I know that's a place that I need to try to attract monster to. But there's not, and there's a rope over there. I could go over and try to use that rope. But I also see that based on the position that he's in right now, he provides me access to this. And since I know part of this puzzle is going to be moving him around, this is probably early on in the sequence. Look at that. That's how we get him down to a lower level. And now he has access to fruit, so he's going to go looking for fruit. Let's see if I can beat him to fruit over here. No. How about over here? Oh, I didn't even need to get him. Okay, so I don't know what that wooden trap thing is for. Over here, monster. Oh, there's too much of it. Okay. Let's see if I can lead him. That way. Oh, he won't eat it when it's underwater, but he'll look at it. Interesting. I wonder if I'm going to use that. That's something I didn't know. And we've seen little puddles of water before, but they haven't had a gameplay value before. And now all of a sudden it looks like they may have a gameplay value. That being that they can be used to hide fruit. Okay, so this very clearly gives me a path to the next thing. And this is the first time we've seen a flying house. Like, this is a new little house moving animation. I'm loving the house moving animations. They've got like a whimsy to them that is that's really magical. Okay, interesting. So the house will actually stick to this. Oh, and accidentally, I discovered that I have more range of motion than I realized that I had. I thought this was just to move back and forth, but now I see that I can move it around. It's interesting that that control isn't intuitive enough that I noticed it right away. Like, I didn't know immediately that I had that much control. But I discovered it before I needed to, right? It hasn't become important yet that I use that many degrees of freedom of movement, but it's about to. And so it's interesting that, like, just the way that it's set up for me to interact with it, I think could be more intuitive, but it was sort of intuitive enough. Like, it worked for its purposes. Okay, this is the puzzle that I got to the last time I played. I have never been to the solution of this puzzle, but I remember this thing, this sort of contraption of bending and stacking these shacks. I think that I am building a bridge, right? Like, this is the affordances of this at this angle are that I can sort of walk on it. And of course I'm trying to get in that direction where the mural is. So I think what I need to do is figure out how to drop enough houses. So here's another one. Here's a house that has a key on it. I think if I turn this key, it's gonna go and attach itself to the bridge. And there it goes. Now they've done a little bit of cheating where I had the bridge at an angle and they moved it back for me. I think when I moved the house, which is fine. I mean, as a player, it's easy for me to get it back to where I want it. And I think, you know, that was maybe just a shortcut for them. All right, so here's my guess. I'm gonna set this down. Oh, did he just eat it? Did my whole plan of putting these in the water just... I'm gonna keep trying. So I can see there's a key on a house up there. That's where I want to go next. I want the monster to go to sleep so that I can bounce on his belly and get up there, because I think that's how I'm going to access that area. But obviously, he's not going to sleep. He's just running back and forth between these fruits. So here's my idea. If I can get the fruit and put it somewhere that he can't access it, then I know if he doesn't have access to fruit, he'll go to sleep. I also know that if I get rid of the fruit, then it respawns, but maybe it only respawns when it's destroyed or when he eats it. So if I can just put it in a different place where it's not destroyed, then he won't have access to it and he'll go to sleep. Nope, that didn't work. What about if I put it on a different level? Because I know he doesn't like to change elevation. If I put it up here, will that maybe then it'll stop counting? He'll ignore it because it's at a different elevation, and then he'll go to sleep. You can see me now using the systems and mechanics that I've been taught, right? Like I know all of these state machines. I know how the little fruit respawners work. I know how the monster works. I understand like his relationship to elevation and to fruit and to all of these things. You can see me like trying to put all of these pieces together in different ways that are going to accomplish my goal. And obviously that didn't work either. So that's not the correct solution. I haven't actually walked over here. I would feel really silly if there was just like a ladder right here that led me up to there. But so from here I can see, again, in the first segment we talked about this sort of free roaming third person camera and the way that it gives us a perspective on the world that's different than the character's perspective and how that's sometimes important. From here I can see another thing that I want to get to, and I don't know that the character actually can see that from his perspective, but I have a much wider range that I can of places that I can look, that I can just scan, that I can see things like that. Alright, so if I go up these stairs, now that there's no house here, can I get up? No, I can't. Oh, maybe I can. Wait. No, I can't get up there. Nope. None of that looks jumpable. And I still believe that this game will make it obvious when something's jumpable. Look at all those keys I need to get to. Okay, so somehow I need to get to a higher elevation. There's not a ladder up here, is there? I mean, there is, but there's not a way from here to get over there, is there? I don't believe so. And from here now I'm cut off. Okay. I'm not losing hope at any point because the game has been really careful to sort of, you know, there we go, to teach me to trust it, right? That I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm unable to continue. I wonder if I can make this jump. All right. That was a little bit of a Prince of Persia jump, but not too bad. I was up high enough that it felt like I could probably make that. Okay, so now that I'm here, is there somewhere else I can go? I'm starting to sort of feel like, can I leverage the places that I've already gotten to in order to go further? I feel kind of bad for Monster. I took away all of his fruit. Like, he was so happy running from place to place. I'm going to give him a fruit back so that he can keep doing his thing. Okay, so now I feel like maybe I'm establishing a pattern where each house I get to makes my bridge tower thing a little bit taller, and that means that I can access a new level and get to another house, and that's going to be the pattern that's going to repeat. This is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this like big wall of what I've come to associate with, first of all, the fantasy of the world, right? This sparkly white is not real. It doesn't obey real normal physics. In these like big blocks, I don't think I've seen it quite like this, especially in a place that I haven't interacted with. Usually this shows up when like I move a building in a way that's physically impossible. But now it's here, now it's just here. And I wonder if that's to call my attention to it, especially looking at these floating blocks. I feel like they could blend into the background. You know, standing from over here, if I just look at them, if they didn't have those big white elements to them, I could see them totally blending into the background, and then I might just not notice that there was a floating path over here that took me to a ladder. But now I can go on a ladder. And now here's a ladder that's not quite straight. That's the first time I've seen that. All of these blocks are not quite straight. This is suggesting to me that there's something warped about this part of the world. Not necessarily in a bad way. I mean, so far it's been, you know, if not friendly or especially helpful, at least not threatening, or it hasn't been an obstacle. Like, I'm still able to platform across those things pretty easily. But it is weird. It's weird that, like, it's all it's warped in a way that other stuff hasn't been warped before. Gosh, look at all these houses I'm able to get to just in a row. This is fantastic. And look at how tall that tower is that I've made. Now I can see from up here, for the first time, I'm noticing a color difference, right? That shack, that shack, that shack, that shack are all distinct. They pop out from everything else because they're that slightly warmer color, that sort of red-brown, orange-brown. And I can't see them all, but I can see a couple of them. A couple of them I can see are definitely the shacks that I want to get to. And so now I'm kind of associating that. I'm going to say that that color indicates that that's a special shack. That's one of my tower shacks. Interesting. That I did not really look at that mural before, but I think that's where the monster started out. Was on that level there, and so this mural was like right there. This is a really pretty one because it's got all of those triangles, like the interesting geometry is a part of it, and I haven't really seen that before. And I don't know if this is important. I don't know how intentional this is, but this space seems to be doing an awful lot with geometry. right? With bending and twisting space and the objects in space in a way that we haven't seen before, one, and is also sort of fantastical. It's a different take on the fantastical elements, the theme that we've seen recurring throughout this. I can't jump back onto here. That's fantastic level design, right? That's naturally I would want to follow that path, but the level is telling me that path doesn't lead anywhere. And I don't think this path leads anywhere either. I think I'm just supposed to go down, but it's nice that it indicates so clearly to me, this is not worth your time. This is not a place for you to go. Okay, I'm reverting back to my pattern. I feel like, you know, we took that as far as we could take it. I got like 3 houses out of that deal. Can I use my bridge now in a different way to access some different area? Like if I put it over here, maybe I can access that shack right there. And indeed, that is the case. And now I can get a couple more. This is great. So the pattern that we've established is continuing, is paying off. Like and so my recognition of that pattern, the fact that at some point I noticed that, hey, all of these houses are colored the same. Hey, I keep getting access to more houses by using the bridge. Like my recognition of those patterns is paying off. And that's pretty fundamental to any kind of puzzle design. Ooh, this is hard. This is like that's no good. I can't climb up that. This aligning the houses to where to an optimal position is really difficult. And maybe the answer is the optimal position is just always all the way down. But you can see, like, oh, I can't change the camera. So I'm looking at that house that's sort of up there, and I'm trying to get to it. And it sort of feels like, you know, I want this to be as high and as close as possible. But if I'm actually doing fine movement up here, it's difficult for me to judge the relative position of this house and the house that I want to jump to. Is the bridge closer to the foreground, or is it lined up perfectly? The game is suggesting to me that I don't need to make that kind of fine distinction, because I'm not going to be able to use it as a bridge if I try to do that. Oh boy. Oh, here we go. Here's one. I was worried that I was missing something because it wasn't quite long enough for me to jump to the house that I was looking at. But there was another house. You'll also notice that from the important vantage points, from like the end of that tower, and from a lot of these vantage points from up here, I can see several, if not all, of my target houses. So it's easy for me to keep an implicit count. Like I might not be literally counting how many houses do I have to go, but I can see like, well, I just saw 3. So I've got a few more to go, and maybe it's 4 or 5, but I'm not on the last one, and it's not like 100, right? I mean, it's not like 10, because I would see more of them if that were the case. Now this, I'm gonna try to get this as far over as I can, because I was really close last time to being able to jump up onto the next house up here. this going to get me close enough? It is not. Now there's one over there, but it kind of looks like, I don't know, I can't tell if I'm supposed to access that from this side or from the other side, from behind it, if I actually sort of cross around and then drop down. I don't know. I kind of want, like, it would be nice if it, if there was an implicit sequence, like if I was always getting the lower houses and then working my way up to higher houses, but that hasn't been the case. I've been doing them in kind of out of order from that perspective. And it's not obvious to me that there is another order that I've been doing them in. So now I'm at kind of a tricky point, because I can see several targets, and I know that one of these is going to be the next stage, right? Like this has been laid out. I've done enough of this to see that it's laid out in a linear fashion. I'm supposed to get one house, and then the next house, and then the next house, and that's going to allow me to get the next house, and the next house, and the next house. I can't do this in whatever order I choose. So there is a correct next house, but it's not clear to me which one it is. And so I'm not sure where to focus my attention. Should I be looking over here really hard and trying to figure out how to get up there? Because there's no way that I can jump up there. Should I be trying to figure out how to get up there, or should I be looking at that one over there? Those two that are over here, should I be focusing more on how to get over there? It's not clear to me. So on that side, I have platformed all the way up, sort of as high as I can see. By that I mean to that platform right there. Like, I've been to that platform, and I don't see anywhere to go from that platform. Often, it can be a strategy in games like this to sort of bounce you back and forth to different sides of an open area, because from one side you can get a clear vantage of the other side. And you can maybe see something that was hard to see from up close. For example, like a ledge that's down below where you were that you have to drop onto, or something like that. That doesn't appear to be what's happening here. This is tricky. I'm gonna go back over here. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything on this side of the wall. I don't see anything. There are some floating platforms over here, but I don't see any way to access them. I'm surrounded by these big blocks of white, but I don't see any sort of chalk outlines that I can interact with. I don't seem to be able to walk along those balconies in a particularly meaningful way. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the bridge, because that's the pattern that we established, right? That the bridge is sort of the helpful, it's how I'm gonna get from place to place. If I just stretch straight across, how far do I get? I think maybe I'm just missing one house, right? Because if I had one more house, depending on how it ended up being angled, I might be able to jump up onto there, and then I'd be able to get two more. Slight graphical glitch. There's obviously shadow casting on the main character, and we've seen that throughout the game. You're always casting a shadow. It looks really nice. but there are no shadow casting for this dynamic bridge that we created. So I just have a shadow that's sort of floating on the ground there. Okay, how about Monster? Is there any way that Monster could help us? If we... I mean, I feel like I'm very limited in where I can get him to go. I can get him to go anywhere on this this dirt part, like this bottom level. But I can't actually get him to go to sleep because there's too much fruit around. Now maybe, okay, I don't see how this is gonna help, but I'm kind of, I'm a little desperate, right? I don't have good ideas. I don't have like a clear sense of what I'm supposed to do next. So here's the thing that I think maybe I can do. I think maybe I can carry this fruit over here across this bridge to the other side of this fence. Look at that. Look at the gear down there that I completely missed. So, I don't know what to say. I mentioned in the very first segment, you know, I got stuck on a puzzle for a couple minutes, and the solution ended up being an interactable graffito around the corner that I just didn't see. And I literally said out loud, the lesson that I learned here is that I have to fully explore the area. All I can say is that this is a bigger area, right? And so this is the first time that I've been exposed to an area that's this large. I've kind of been running around a fair bit and looking around at things, but obviously I didn't fully explore it. Okay, so I still don't have a clear idea of what I'm doing. I don't have a goal. Like, I don't see the solution to this puzzle in like a... I talked about Portal last time. Portal is a game where typically you visualize the solution to a puzzle and then you implement that solution. This is a game where sometimes I'm not visualizing the solution. I'm just sort of seeing the next thing that I can do and going with that. Like, just, you know, do that. I can carry this up here. Is that useful? Is he gonna... will he go to sleep? I have to go all the way around to, like, check on his status. What is he doing? What is Monster doing? Where'd he go? He's just standing there. Okay, so that suggests to me, previously, when I've deprived him of stimulus, when I've taken away fruit and frog so he has nothing to do, he's immediately gone to sleep. The fact that he's not going to sleep makes me think that there's not a place in this level that's designed for him to go to sleep. And the reason for that would be that that's not a part of the puzzle, that there's no, like, solution that involves him going to sleep in a particular place. It's a little disconcerting, though, to see him just standing there. Like, I'm used to him always being in one of a couple different states, and now he seems caught in between. Okay, so have I fully explored the area? Let me go around and look behind all of the corners. Is there something that I missed? because I wasn't looking around enough. Nothing back here. Nothing along any of these walls. There's that mural over there, but I didn't see anything over there. There's a key up there. I think that's where I'm headed. I think that's where the end of the level is going to be, because it's right by that mural. I can go back up this way and see if I missed something. Now, this part of the level suggested to me that I didn't need to return to it because it wouldn't let me jump back. But maybe I missed something the first time around that they assumed I would hit. I don't see anything though. It's a lot harder to look for cues over here because everything's so white. So obviously the white chalk doesn't stand out against it. I can use this as a vantage point to try to see if I've missed something somewhere else. But it's not obvious. I don't see anything. I see, obviously, those keys on those houses that I'm trying to get to. Okay, and from up here, there's... Now, maybe I could make it to that ledge. Maybe I can make it to that ledge. No. There's a... It's tricky because we've had a couple of these, like, Prince of Persia jumps that were not obvious whether I could make the jump or not, and so now I'm never sure if a jump looks a little long, am I supposed to take that? And often when I do, like in that case, if I take the jump and it turns out not to be correct, then you know, all of a sudden I'm in an area, I'm far away from where I was before. There's no way for me to get up there. I'm trying to sort of like go backwards through platforming, so for example, if I was on that roof, I could get over there. If I was on that roof up there, I could get to that roof. If I was sort of on this edge over here, I could get to there. But then what? I don't see how I get to that space. So this is by far the longest that I've been stuck on a puzzle in this game, up to this point. I can bring this back through the fence. I feel like it's important that I got Monster to go over here, right? Because I had to work to open up this area. And now Monster's over here, and I just don't see anything that I can do with that. No. In fact, he seems like just so... Will he even take the fruit now? He's gotten into sort of a weird state. I'm not sure what to do with that. Yeah, he's not reacting to me at all. Interesting. It's possible that we've gotten the game into a bugged state. I'm not quite ready to admit that. But I think I am going to take a break. I'm going to break the stream here and come back in just 1 or 2 minutes and attack this again. So I'll see you after a brief break.